You see, I'm going to use two microphones. Okay, so let's make sure that we keep the momentum. Thanks for the previous speaker to talk about the challenges on integrating AI. I think that we have a good framework to start. So the way that this session came together was I think I would start talking with Thanos and one of the organizers, and then with Daniela, and we start thinking about what are we truly doing in our universities across the US in terms of moving forward digital ag. So, and I think that this idea of this panel today is gonna give us some insights on what is happening truly on digital ag. And then we're gonna be talking about a little bit about the challenges. I hope that we're gonna be talking about opportunities, but also about thinking how we can promote digital ag in the country. So, and then truly, it needs to be a coordinated effort, and really, we're gonna be talking about level of investments that it's gonna need. So that's our session. I'm the moderator, so I'm gonna be presenting, introducing one of our panelists at the time. They are representing different universities with different perspective from different institutes. But a little bit to set the stage before we move very quickly, I'm gonna introduce what we are doing, for example, to set the stage at Purdue. So we have an institute, we have some of the friends, Dennis there, the funding director, and some of our program managers, Melinda, helping, to advance and move forward science, and then really to make sure that how do we build people and get people together? Because the challenge on AI in the future is not gonna be about can we use this technology or can we integrate the technologies in our systems, but it's really to bring people together. And then one of our big tasks and challenges over time is really building capacity. You cannot undermine the time that it takes to build people-centered approaches, connectivity, and making sure that we get different colleges, multiple departments working together in different tasks. Just a couple of things, I will just leave our mission and vision there. What is our focus? Data science, integration. We work from engineer, people working with data science, statistics, GIS, computer science, collaborating with other institutes, with physical AI, with institutes, in multiple aspects. But one of the things that we're very proud as an institute is this idea of bringing people together. We have more than 100 faculty staff, that is under our institute and working in collaboration with many thousands of people reached every year, looking at basically how we are also not just focusing on the research aspect with many of our research grants and faculty, but also how we are tackling the education component and the outreach. A reminder for us, as we are building these institutes, is we are under the umbrella of the land-grant university, which basically means that we are really looking at outreach. Purdue is one of the longest, or has one of the longest precision ag survey that has been running for the last 25 years. And it's really just a source, a global source of information about technology adoption. In terms of education, a reminder for us is that people is ready and they want to be educated on these topics. So we have online classes, courses. We just finished one of the first sessions last weekend on one class that we put together with faculty across the multiple departments and college. And we got 60 students in only 2 or 3 hours that they basically look at the class, take a look to the topic and say, I want to take this class, okay? And it's not only just about AI, it's about basically learning about what skills do I need to invest, focus on, how do I basically start working on collaboration. So many multiple events. I'm not gonna stop here, but I wanna emphasize again the importance of collaborations. Many of our events are industry driven. We have seminars. We bring industry to campus. We are fostering the collaboration between public-private partnerships, okay? One of the things that I emphasize is, that I would say the environment that we are right now in terms of looking at investments, I think that focusing on public-private collaborations and building innovation in collaboration with industry is one of the key aspects. And lastly, but not the less important, we also foster the young people. We really care about education, training, outreach. And one of the things that we started last year and we are continuing is at this Digital Ag Institute is Digital Ag Symposium. So having a student-led, basically helping and leading an institute, leading a symposium with the main goal of really developing leadership skills for the younger generation. So here are some examples on how we are setting the stage for the rest of the panelists. What you're gonna hear now is just different perspectives from different universities. So I'm gonna invite our first speaker, John, if you want to start.
I'll come up there?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because I'm also mic'd up. Okay, hello everyone. My name is John Reed, and I'm the Executive Director of the Center for Digital Ag at the University of Illinois. Our center is about intelligent, connected agri-food systems optimized from discovery to consumer. And that covers a wide space from the lab activities we do to field, all the way to the table. And this center was created in 2019 as a collaboration, an internal campus collaboration between the college, Granger College of Engineering, and the College of ACES, which is Agricultural, Consumer, Environmental Sciences. And it was trying to bring researchers together to go after this application space in agriculture as technology hit, ag tech hit the ag sector. And so our overall activities are to basically catalyze collaborations, especially around grants for researchers. We're also doing research that helps increase the global productivity of agriculture. And as mentioned in a previous talk, we're trying to build the capabilities of learners that are both in the College of ACES or agriculture, as well as across the campus in other departments. So I'm going to highlight four activities that, or four areas of our development. One is that our role in agri-food systems, actually on the previous slide, you can see at the bottom that we work in different application domains. If you look at the banner, from production systems, controlled environment agriculture, food processing systems, ag science applications, and so forth. But basically what we try to do is to bring these groups together and convene them and try to get professors from multiple departments to go after larger grants. We started just with the College of Engineering and the College of ACES, but it's grown to include other colleges, business, life sciences, and in our case, liberal arts and sciences, which includes our plant biology departments. And we do work that is from the discovery side to deployment, but we also are interested in that translational part of how do we take what we do and get it into the hands of producers, industry, other users. Our research is based on having, winning some of these grants and having some flagship programs. And some of the platforms that we have are listed here. One of the big ones is we're one of the 5 ag-related AI institutes, and it's called AI Farms. We also are in a subaward to Cornell in a programmable plant systems project called CROPS. And then we have an iFarm, which is a regenerative agriculture research center, farm of the future. And some other activities we do are related to education and training. And some of that is experiential. We have REU programs that we've been able to attract students from grants that essentially put learners from around the nation on our campus during the summer for 10 weeks to work with our faculty. We have an AI Foundry, which is a short course that we use to train new learners to AI technologies. It's a 1-week course with a 2-day hackathon that's connected to it that we offer each summer. And then we have been having some hackathons. We have a digital ag hackathon that we just recently completed and have another one planned for the fall. So this is a way of engaging people. We also have more formal programs. We have an online program called the Masters of Engineering in Digital Agriculture, 100% online. There are a number of certificate programs that can support that course. And in thinking about the longer or deeper pipeline, K through 12, we have a toolkit called Digital Ag in a Box that we've developed a curriculum for that allows students in K through 12 to experience different types of projects in digital agriculture. And then finally, a really important part of this is engaging with the ecosystem in the industry, whether it's the farmers and producers that we work with. You can see some pictures that farmers that have been active in our conference and advisory to our projects and programs. We also have an industry partner program where we try to bring these technologies back to industry. At the bottom of the slide, I highlight one of those areas, which is AI AgriBench. This conference is interested in AI. Being able to trust and understand that AI is giving the right kinds of answers is important. We started developing a program out of AI Farms called Crop Wizard, and that expanded into industry sitting down with us and saying, we need to basically have a way of validating these. And so if you see me in the conference, I'm happy to hand out some cards about AI AgriBench, but essentially it's a benchmarking tool that you can bring your chatbots to and have them evaluated and scored against expert agronomist questions. So I'll turn it over to the next speaker.
Thank you. Oops. Hello. All right. So, hello, everybody. My name is Renata Ivanek. I am representing here Cornell Institute for Digital Agriculture, or CIDA. So, I'm here as co-director of CIDA. So, what is CIDA? CIDA is an ecosystem of people deeply invested in integrating, innovating digital solutions, novelty solutions in food production, so the food production can be sustainable and more efficient. And we do this in a holistic way by integrating diverse disciplines that are necessary to make these innovations, from obviously engineering, computer science, agriculture, but also social sciences, economics, and so forth. So we are maybe we are not actually that different. So I was really interested to hear how others have started. So we are a collaborative between 4 colleges that are equal partners in CIDA. So, and each college is represented by a co-director. I'm one of them representing vet school. We have Feng Shi representing engineering, Hakeem Weatherspoon representing computer science, and Julio Giordano representing agricultural life sciences. And so within this leadership, we are also supported by amazing executive committee, more than 20 people representing actually 3 campuses at Cornell in all fields that are relevant to agriculture. We have a large membership, more than 100 professors are part of our ecosystem, in addition to staff and students. And then what we do, we focus on many of the things that were already mentioned by John, but one of our core area of effort is innovating, seeding impactful research. We have Research Innovation Fund, which is a program where we seed grants to faculty. We gave out, since 2019, almost $4 million for research, collaborative research in digital agriculture, and also supported summer students, professional students, PhD students, and undergraduate students, more than 60. Through this seeded research, we either directly or indirectly supported many initiatives, major initiatives in digital agriculture at Cornell. So crops was already mentioned. We have CAST for Farm of the Future. We have AI Thought Summit. We have AI for Ag, different initiatives. In addition to that, we are deeply invested in education. So we started Digital Agriculture Minor that is open to all undergraduate students at university. We have very popular Digital Agriculture Hackathon. This year we had eight iteration of the event, typically quite well attended, more than 100 students in many teams, and then like 30 to 40 mentors from faculty and on industry partners. And this event is, by the way, open not only to all students at Cornell, but also nationally. And oftentimes we have international attendees at Hackathon. What else I want to say? We have additional annual events like workshop and symposia, which are ways to bring people together, find collaborators for collaborations when they apply for grants. And I think I will end with that. Oh, I will just add the way we are funded. So funding is always an interesting issue. We started as a collaboration between 4 colleges that were contributing to this bigger mission, the deans, to support digital agriculture at Cornell, and also with a great gift so basically through philanthropy. Nowadays, we are supported mainly by industry collaborations, funding our events, grants like everybody else, and also a little bit with deans. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Everybody is looking very serious here. Just loosen up a little bit. We're talking about collaboration. We're talking about bringing people together. So I think the theme is pretty common among all the institutes. I'm Ajay Sharad. I'm a professor in the Bio and Ag Engineering and the co-director for Institute for Digital Ag Advanced Analytics. I have to pivot my thoughts based on what some of the people have already said. It's a lot of overlap. The overall theme in terms of what we have is that we really want to become a people-centered thing, right? We want to make sure that people, feel welcomed. A lot of things which we have seen when we go across the campus, try to meet people, is one missing link. I don't know where you are. I don't know what you do, right? We don't know where people are and what they are doing, right? So I think it has really become a platform. Our goal is to bring people together, form large collaborative teams, everything what people have said. We want to become successful. We want to become the engine for economic growth. We want to make sure that we can bring technology. We can become part of the, the economic engine aspect of it. Contribute towards the workforce development and all those things. So these are some of our goals from our mission standpoint, which are looking at bringing teams together. So what I would like to focus is that we have kept most of our things from one punchline. It is informed by data and inspired by people. One of the things we do informal Friday evening get-togethers. Just come grab a beer, and if you have an idea to talk about, and we talk about that. But like what I want to emphasize is there are a lot of things which we do, signature activities and all that part. But one of the things which we are trying to inculcate is to bring people and start thinking about what their end product looks like when the things are getting started. We are trying to promote the idea of looking at building a product which has a path to commercialization, but also start thinking about how do you achieve that path, right? There are a lot of components within the campus. We have corporate engagement, we have foundation people, we have people who are helping in startups, but everybody is kind of sitting in their edges, and we just really don't have a mechanism which is primed to support people as they're going along. As soon as you start you knock a door, you ask for help, there's no process in place, right? So people are there, but they're not talking to each other. So I think what we are taking this approach, if you look at the last point, I really want to focus on that, is research to deployment, right? The translation aspect of it. There, everything is same. I think we are all hitting the same point. We want to help across campus, but I think we are really hitting the aspect of research to deployment, the aspect of producer-centric solutions. If you do not think, one of the things which we are doing recently is that as soon as we have an idea, we bring in, we do discovery days, like product ideation, product scoping aspect of it. We try to tell people that, hey, try to understand what the needs of the customers are, what the needs of the users are, and if we can align our research goals with the needs of what the product should look like and make them part of the process, engage them throughout the development aspect of it, they will become part of the output product as well. So that has been one of the biggest things. And the last thing I really want to hit as talked about is path to commercialization. How can we start to think about the products which are, not just part of the output of the project, but they are ready to go, or go to market ready products. So these are some of the things we do. Like I said, we really want to engage from an institute standpoint across the state to all our stakeholders. If you look at the stakeholder thing, this has really helped us to become, make ourselves familiarized with the people who are part of our ecosystem. So that's where we are. We really want to continue to grow from here. We are anticipating, or what our bigger goals, and we are telling people is start thinking about, you can have a startup, start thinking about, making revenue, right? So there should be something in your mind that I would like to, create some revenue from the product we are building. So that's all I have to say. Now, thanks for listening, and happy to answer more questions.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rex Sun, and I'm the endowed chair and director for NDSU Peltier Institute. I came from North Dakota. Before I talk about our NDSU Peltier Institute, I just want to announce one thing. Yesterday, on the airplane I'm flying here, I saw the news. NDSU just selected our 16th president of North Dakota State University, President Marshall Stewart. And he came from K-State, but he graduated from NC State. And thank you so much, NC State, send us the president of North Dakota State University. That's a connection right there, right? So, yeah, and talk about our NDSU Peltier Institute. Last year, our North Dakota, the big family there is a Peltier family, and they are very generous, donate millions of dollars to our NDSU, and they want us to work on the agricultural technology. And this Peltier Institute established as a joint effort between NDSU College of Agriculture and NDSU College of Engineering. And at North Dakota, we are a big agriculture state, and from the Governor Hoeven and all the way to from the Senator Hoeven, from Governor Armstrong, and all the way to our faculties, our deans, we all very supportive about agriculture technology. And there's a lot of going on in ag tech in North Dakota. And this Peltier Institute, we established last year in October 2025. We are working on our strategic planning right now. And the mission and vision, I think the AJ talk about it, probably pretty the same. Only one difference is, I hope you guys don't mind, we will be the global leader of ag tech at North Dakota State, okay? And for the research, education, and extension, for the research, we want to focus on applied research. Like our keynote speakers mentioned, we want using the best of agriculture in North Dakota. We do a project by project, one step at a time, earn that trust from our farmers. And we want using artificial intelligence, robotics, remote sensing, how can we using that technology to help farmers step by step earn that trust and do some beneficial for their daily farming. And then we're also building the robot and the drones from scratch. And on the education part, we just want to mention that the Peltier Institute not only invest our research, also invest our next generations of agriculture. You see that picture, the group picture, that we call the Peltier Scholars. Each year, Peltier family donate 10 scholarships, $4,000 each for 4 years. In North Dakota, our tuition is not expensive as other states. That means every single student, if they got the Peltier Scholars, they are tuition free for 4 years. So that's a big move from our Peltier Institute. And also we are one of the earliest land-grant university who offer this precision ag major, now called ag tech major. If you go to our program, you can get a degree in ag tech. And we are maintaining at a 100 employment rate. Every single one, they got a job, except that those kids come to our program and they want to go back to farming. And then, of course, on the extension, we are focused on the collaboration with the private sector and academia, and like these guys, and we want to win together. And then also the K-12 outreach as well. So I will end up there, and I think we all came here for the same goal. We want to collaborate. That's a very important word. And we want to collaborate with all of you, NC State, all the land-grant university. Let's win together. Thank you.
Okay, now we are opening the time for questions. I don't know if we can get some questions from the audience. I think that we have someone there. If you have any quick questions, okay. We have a question all the way on the other side of the room.
On my way. Was it you?
So, a relatively standard approach when it comes to a lot of the current paradigm of AI is scale, and specifically scale across a lot of important covariates, whether it be location in some of your cases, or it could be time or other weather climatic factors. So I'm curious for your guys and your guys' groups if there has been any discussion or any talk about how to best sort of integrate or, claim access and use very large data sets potentially for some of this work that you're going to do in the AI in the future? And if so, then what have those motions been? And if not, what do you think from an university or an academic perspective is the biggest sort of impediment to this sort of data sharing that could allow the building up of the larger data sets to train AI models?
Who wants to tackle?
I can take
Yeah.
a first step. I think that's a great question. I mean, AI relies on data. You need a lot of data, and it has to be good data. And all members of our agricultural community, everybody produces some data. And so logically, if we could pull all that data together, we will have a lot of data to work with. And but it doesn't work that way. It's not as easy. And I think big concerns are privacy. People do not want to share their business secrets or even things that are not as favorable about them with others. There is no trust. There is also big concern about who will get the value of that data. I mean, if I'm the farmer, if there is value, I want to see that value for myself. Also, there is, we hear concern among, especially in agriculture, among farmers and growers. Like you get my data and then you sell me the software, so I can then, you make new technology based on my data and then I have to buy it back from you. So I think what we need as a solution is a way to integrate data without actually sharing data. Like federated learning is a great approach to make that happen. It requires infrastructure, which we still need to develop. But I'm thinking sharing without sharing is the way to go, obviously with a lot of standardization and other components, so the data is compatible.
Hey, John, one more. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make a couple of additional comments. One is that the digital revolution for agriculture has actually created this massive amount of data. We like the idea that we can do things at the plant by plant and collecting all this information, this data. Actually, I think AI will play a role for farmers in just helping to crunch through this, to take the complexity out of it, because they don't have the time to do the work that, you have this additional information, how are you going to take advantage of it? So that's one point. More of a technical answer is I'm really encouraged by, AI is still evolving. And one of the really interesting areas is geospatial AI methods. And if you've seen the tool called Torch Geo, it's really evolved over the past couple of years. But I think we're going to see that there's more seamless, easier to use, integrated ways where AI can make a contribution and help manage the new problem we have, which is the massive amounts of data that we'd like to convert into insights and information.
So very short, I think something which you're talking about, the how to manage data. So we gotten some recent funding, NSF funding, and it is between multiple countries. I think one of the things which we have to really handle and tackle is that how do we pool data coming from multiple entities, especially if they're international or even national as well. It has become a risk for the schools to support the storage of data because of the cybersecurity aspect of it, access aspect of it. And if we are in the path of commercialization, whose contributions are going to be counted in what way in terms of, when you start to generate revenue. So I think that is something to really talk about. I think data standardization, metadata protocols, understanding where the data came from, who used it. So traceability aspect of it. I think these are some of the things. There is no pathway, so we are trying to deal with it. I hope, that will be something which will, come up as some new knowledge for people to use in, the next year or so.
Just two sentences from me. You mentioned about data cleaning. I think it's very important because if we tell AI this data, the wrong data, AI will produce some wrong data. So who is there to evaluate AI's accuracy? I think that's very important as well.
Yes. Can you choose? You can see. That's okay.
Go for it, Yanis.
Hello everyone. I'm Prabha Sundaradive from University of Texas at Tyler. So I just wanted to know, seeing your presentations, there are a lot of initiatives for students. Are there any initiatives for collaborations amongst the faculties as well? Are there, because I come from non-PhD granting R2 institution, but we also work on a lot of agriculture projects. So I just want to know like how we can contribute if there is any software or framework with our research as well. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I think there are all sorts of collaborative opportunities. I think these are, as you know, the outward-looking component starts to become more and more bold and transparent. Right now, I think everybody is in the build phase. We are trying to get everything in-house, but I think they are opening up collaborations across the universities as well. So, just I would say to everyone in the room, just feel free to reach out and just ask if you have a question, if you're working in a certain area. I think people would love to collaborate.
And I just will add that the collaborations are even global levels of collaboration and partnerships between institutions. And so just because AI feels like it's a new thing here, actually it has applications all across the world at different scales, at all levels of farming. You don't have to have high-end robotic equipment to be able to leverage the benefits of AI.
Right.
I think at this stage, we do a project, we have to do a multidisciplinary team together. Because, for example, the weed control, I'm an ag engineer. I don't know anything about weed, right? But there's a weed scientist in the plant science. They're waiting to collaborate with us. I think that's a win-win situation. So, yeah, I think the challenging in the future is how to ignite their interest about the collaboration together. I mean, for example, I'm a well-established professor. My team is very, very successful. Why I need to collaborate with you, right? So that's a main point. And I think the interest, we have to gain their interest in the future to collaborate together.
Okay, good work, guys. If you allow me to be a little bit critical, and this is actually a question that I also received when I was in a panel from the stakeholders. So we are doing great with collaboration, multi-state, international, teaching, extension. I mean, we know how to do that. I love that you try to emphasize on translation and commercialization, and I want to ask a question again on that. And again, I'm sorry for that, but can you give us an example of a success story came out from your institute, right? A company, a startup that graduated, went to the higher level now, and it's a commercial product that we can use. And what was the revenue through royalties? Or I mean, I'm sorry, I apologize. I know it's difficult, but we need to address the elephant in the room, right? One of our mission as a land-grant university is to give back to the society. So how we really help. And in ag, I know it's ag technology. It's very difficult, the adoption, but anything you can share? Again, sorry for that.
Yeah, I love the question, and it's probably a whole afternoon session just to talk about this. But I think the thing is, you got to realize that translation is probably not what's taking place in the research lab directly. And so you have to think of the ways of how does this impact the customer and create value. I like to think of things in a framework of design thinking. We always think about the technological feasibility, but we also need to think about how it's going to be used by whoever the user is, the farmer, the company, and whatever else happens there. And that's the desirability of what you're doing. And maybe what you do in research is actually not in a form that industry or a farmer is able to use directly. So there could be some intermediary steps that could be missed. And finally, it's got to have business viability. Somebody has to make money off of it, and or there has to be a return on investment. And all three of those things have to be held in balance. And some examples that I think are very, just very niche. Each example is I just mentioned geospatial AI. well, we have a CS professor who's developed this with his graduate student, and it's a tool that researchers around the world and companies can use, and it's open source, so they don't even have to do anything extra. That's kind of an easy example. But you also have things where you develop a tool like we have a Crop Wizard, which is a Gen AI crop advisory tool. Companies have licensed it, but at the end of the day, they also have their own tools. And what's really interesting out of that is the translational piece for us is industry coming together and saying, hey, we all need to use these things and they need to be trustworthy. So let's work together to try to validate the performance of these systems. So again, those are very, maybe not the way you were thinking about translations, but they're the way that I think you just kind of see there's different examples of doing it.
So I don't have any, kind of a real example. I mean, I don't have a data on top of my mind, but there are some companies who have grown from a school ecosystem to become successful, and they are making good revenues, and there are a lot of them which have failed as well. But I think, Yanis, where you're going is what I personally think is missing is that a lot of people who are doing good work, they do not know how to protect it, or maybe there is not easy way of doing it because the department head is asking where is the next funding coming from, and then the next thing is that sometimes your product out of your PhD program or master program really look promising, but that's what not the industry needs. As soon as you take that product to the industry, they have these at least 2, 3, 4, 5 check boxes which you have to meet. So where does that seed money comes from? So I think we are trying to plug those gaps, make those things seamless, make those people kind of visible and available on campus. And then, you go from there to stages. We have a great visit yesterday talking about what's happening on the NC State campus. But I think those are the things which are missing. It means faculty, we are asking a lot out of people, from writing to successful doing that. But that ecosystem is completely different. We don't train people to be entrepreneurs. So I think those are the things which we need to facilitate. But I think a lot of people are on path to doing it.
So this, May?
Yeah.
This is a very good comment, actually. This can be a suggestion. Why maybe you add some training on that. And plus, so you can add some training. As you mentioned, we don't know how to be business people, so you can train some of your faculty or students. And the other thing is, like you guys said that you give a lot of money for scholarships, training. Do you give any money to startup companies?
So I guess everybody talked about that a little bit. Everybody has some seed money to give. But the more important thing is that people who are sitting in their individual offices saying this is my mandate, they are not collaborating with the right people to create pathways across campus to facilitate those things. So I think when you bring those people together and say, hey, this is what we are doing, like I mentioned, as soon as you start talking about this is what I want to do, they start, there's no ready packet. Like if I walk to Yanis's office and say, this is what I want to do, there's not a packet you can hand me, they say, hey, these are the follow-up steps. So my guess is every school is figuring out, and this environment in terms of where we are in terms of funding, people are trying to re-innovate themselves, and I think this component of doing more commercialization, translational stuff has gained more value, and I think you will see that people will get more and more focused in providing those services and rolling out more successful startups.
Very quick, I see we're running out of time. So in the North Dakota, we do have a program, NSF funded, I think, IPOR program. I think you guys have that too. So this program, we encourage the students to enroll this program, and then they will have mentors from industry, and then they train you how to start a company and how to do the entrepreneurship.
I know what NSF you did. What about your institute?
We just started last October, so we don't have anything yet, but I can tell you one successful story from our program. Our student, after my class, he just approached me, Dr. Rex, in the drone class you talk about, very interesting. Me and my brother want to open a drone spraying company. I told them to go for it, and they started a company, still running now. So I think those ideas, doesn't matter it's big or small, you just need to do it.
One quick comment is, what I'm more worried about commercialization or building companies from the university, I'm worried about the making sure that we do ABC. before you jump into, I can build a startup. I think that we need to make sure that here is a reflection of saying we need to start talking between each other with universities. Everyone is building their own digital ag institute or their own center, whatever you want to call it, or your applied translational AI. But when is the moment that we're going to start talking to each other to coordinate, to make sure that when we are doing training of grad students, we are being intentional, we talk to industry, we integrate industry from the beginning to say, what is the type of skills and workforce that you need to make sure that we are ready to train that type of workforce. And I think that what I see most of the times on our institute is that we are the ones providing the vision to advance agriculture in our colleges, universities. So I like the idea of moving into startups, but I'm always a little bit more worried about our researchers talking. I mean, because we have been many startups, I mean, at Purdue in many situations, but sometimes when you get to see these startups, you say, oops, it's only just an agronomist alone, or it's an engineer guy alone, and they are not talking to each other. And you see that the success of those small companies are gonna last 5 years just because they don't have stakeholder input or they don't have integration with other colleges. And I think that one of the big challenges that we are facing in many situations is how do we make sure that we are intentional first to build integration across disciplines and colleges and really focus on, I think that's a land-grant university, you know, on the mission of basically education, teaching, research, and outreach. On the piece of outreach, I think that we are doing much better than many decades. I mean, on translation. So, and I think that we're gonna be forced, I think, on moving on that direction, I mean, on the coming years. So I think that is a very valid question. So, but I wanna emphasize that I wanna make sure that we start from the beginning. Yeah. Any last question? I think that we are off on the panel, so one quick one, so please.
I don't know this is a quick one now, but I just
Make it.
talk about engagement, right? Yeah, follow up Yanni's question, and you mentioned some of the mission of land-grant university, public institution. You are pioneers in having this research center, whatever, advancing AI technology, digital ag. So there still have a barrier, right, between adoption with research. From all you, like the frontiers on this research, extension, education, how do you think, if you give some suggestion, like, University of Missouri also have a digital ag effort, what we should do? What we should do differently than before, like we can, accelerate the process, translate the technology to some production.
Yeah. John, or who wants to?
Can I just? So I think maybe we are mixing a few things. So I think translation is absolutely necessary, but it's not necessarily a mission of every of our institutes. For example, at Cornell, we have a whole unit whose job is exactly that, translation through I-Corps and many other venues, and not just agriculture, for many other aspects of business. I think what we are doing is integrating, bringing together disciplines that used to be disparate. Like, people did not know how to talk to engineers. I'm a veterinarian. I mean, I had to learn how to talk to computer scientists. So I think that's the big thing that we are doing together, bringing disciplines together to something that now became digital agriculture. We didn't have it before. And through that, everything that comes along, education and extension and innovative research. And translation will happen, and there are people taking care of it.
So I can only say that just be honest with yourself. We say that we want to collaborate, then we say that we want to build an interdisciplinary team, but sometimes we just fail to bring the right people all along and have the domain specialist in the middle, like as a nucleus. If you do some of those things right, like you being honest with the team, and when you're building all those things, it can be a team of your proposal you're writing, or team in terms of what you want to build as an institute. But if you set your goals right, just be transparent with those people. You will see that you will succeed. A lot of time we're just not very honest with what we want to achieve. So that's just my thing.
Yeah, I'll just make a closing comment and transition. Actually, our next speaker, I think, is somebody you should talk to, Kai-Yu Guan. He's an example of somebody that has the research and translates it into practice. So I think we're eating up some of their time. Maybe we should give it back to them.
So I will close with that. We will talk more about that. So thank you for your time, and thank you everyone here.